eat that is produced in his land, and not to eat anything that is given from other people, because the source, because yes, they did not know the source of other things that were being given to them. Meaning, he used to say, just eat from the fruit or from the things that are being produced in our land, and don't accept gifts or even other people. If they give something, don't eat from them, because we are not sure whether they have been achieved through legal means or not. This shows that his father was really a pious person and God-fearing person. And basically he stayed in his village Nawa, and he learned the religion there. He started learning the religion there until the age of 18. When he became 18, then his father brought him to the Damascus, because Damascus was a famous city, and a lot of scholars, a lot of famous madrasas were there. So he brought him there when he was nearly 18 years old. And with regard to his dedication to study, it is well known from his biography that he was very eager to learn the religion, and he would not like to waste any time. Sometimes his friends used to ask him to come and play. He would refuse, and they would make fun of him. Would say, why you always want to learn and want to study? He would say that we have not been created to waste our time or life in playing. And one time, it is mentioned in his biography that his friends forced him to come with him. He took him. They forced him, and by force they took him, and they took along with him to play. And then he started crying. Then his friends asked, what's wrong with you? Why you are crying for? He said, I'm crying because you forced me to come and take part in the play, and I'm wasting my time. In that time I would have learned many hadiths or many more things, or I would have gained many knowledge about the deen. Then his friend realized that he's a serious man, and then they left him go and get busy in his learning. And it is well recorded that he would take 12 lectures a day. He would take around 12 lectures a day. And approximately at that time, one lecture approximately used to be 1 hour or more or less 1 hour. This was the custom, because after each prayer they used to give a lecture, and sometime during the day as well. And each lecture would last for approximately 1 hour. So this was his normal routine. He used to take 12 lectures at a day. And when he came to Syria, in Damascus, he started learning in a madrasa called Saramiya. The famous madrasa or school was called Saramiya. He learned there. But there were no accommodation for the people, meaning it was a school. Children used to come and learn and go. Because he came from the Nawa, from the nearby village, he needed accommodation as well. So he left that madrasa and he went to another madrasa called Rawahiyya, and there was a boarding in that madrasa as well. In that madrasa, meaning it was for the local people and for the students who used to come from far away. So he studied there in Rawahiyya, and then he himself became a great scholar, and he started teaching in the famous madrasa called Ashrafiyya. And he was not only the teacher, he made appointed head teacher of that school, which is called Ashrafiyya. And with regard to his dedication to learn, I forgot to mention a few things, that it is well known in his biography that he would read and make research all the time, and he would not sleep even. For example, it is mentioned that he himself said, I spent 2 years without lying on ground to sleep on my side. This is he would always study and write until slept overtook while in a sitting position. Meaning he would not by himself take a rest or lie on the ground. He would sit and read, and when he would get tired, or the sleep used to overtake him, and he would be in the sitting position. And when he would get awake, then he would start again reading and making research and learning. So 2 years he did not lie down on the ground on his side. So this also shows that he was really dedicated, and he gave his full time to learning. And that's how you learn. There are famous things of many scholars. In Arabic it says, Al-ilmu la yutika ba'dahu hatta tutihi kullu. Meaning, the knowledge, Islamic knowledge. It will not give a portion of it until you give completely to, until you yourself give completely to it. Meaning, when you dedicate yourself completely to the knowledge, then the Islamic knowledge will give a portion to you. You will get a portion of the Islamic knowledge. Meaning, you only get a portion of the Islamic knowledge when you dedicate or when you give your whole time to the knowledge, or when you give your whole time seeking the knowledge. So this is with regard to the knowledge, or his hard working, or his dedication to the knowledge. And let's come to the other aspect, his authority, meaning his taqwa and zuhd and wara, meaning simple life, simplicity. So we find many things about his taqwa and about his simple life. And it is well known, or a well-known fact about in his biography, that he used to give up, or he had given up the pleasures of this life. Meaning, he would not spend any time looking for the food or looking for the luxuries of this life. Rather, he used to live a very, very simple life, following the footsteps of the Prophet ﷺ, the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Meaning, it was offered for the Prophet ﷺ that if you want, you can be made a king. If you want, the whole mountain Uhud will be changed into gold, and then you can have whatever you want from the worldly things. But the Prophet ﷺ refused to accept that offer. In the same way, Imam Nawawi was the teacher as we mentioned, in the Ashrafiyya, the famous schools of the Damascus at that time. Not only teacher, he was the head teacher. So what he used to do, for the beginning of 2 years, he accepted the salary. For the beginning of the 2 years, he accepted a humble salary. After 2 years, he said that there is no need me to take any salary. He refused to take any salary, and he used to teach lillah fillah. Lillah fillah means for the sake of Allah. And he did, and for the rest of the life, as long as he remained teacher in the school, he did not accept or did not take any salary. And what happened? Because he was given the advice from his father from the very childhood, that he eat from the halal and do not eat anything that if you are not sure about its sources, whether it has come from the legal means or illegal. So he used to eat the fruits and the cakes that used to be sent from his father. His father used to live in the near village called Nawa, as we mentioned. So he used to send some fruits and some cakes from time to time. So that was the thing upon which he was dependent. Meaning, he wasn't taking any salary. So how he used to make his living? Because his father used to send the fruits and cake that was produced from his land. And whenever again any pupil or students used to give him some gift, eatable things, he would show taqwa, he would show cautious, and he would not like to consume them or eat them. Not saying that accepting hadiyah is the sunnah of the Islam, but he used to show extreme cautiousness, meaning he used to say, because I'm not sure whether it has come from the legal means or not, so I don't want to put myself in doubtful matters. And there's a famous story that Qazi Sulaiman, he was the Chief Justice of the Damascus, Sulaiman Az-Zarai. What did he see? Once he saw on the day of Eid that Imam Nawawi is eating some bread, some dry bread. He saw he was the Chief Justice at the time, Sulaiman Az-Zarai. He saw Imam Nawawi was eating dry bread on the Eid day without any curry or without any meat. So he said, "What are you eating?" He said, "Yes, this is my food. You can come and share." But because he was a Chief Justice, he didn't like this dry bread. Sorry, it was dry bread, only bread without any meat or without any curry. So he didn't took part. Then he went to his home and bought some meat or some roasted chicken or something, and he asked Imam Nawawi to come and share. But Imam Nawawi said, Imam Nawawi refused. Then Qazi Sulaiman asked, why are you not eating with me? I'm offering or asking you to come and take your part, and you're not. Is this not halal? Do you think that this is something haram? But look to the answer that Imam Nawawi gave. He said, yes, he asked that are you doubtful about its legalness, or it is not appealing to you? Imam Nawawi said, no, it's not appealing to me. Rather, I think this is a food of tyrants and extravagant people. People who are involved in the luxuries of this life, it is food for them. Meaning it is halal, but still he didn't want to take part or to eat those meat or the good food that was Qazi Sulaiman was asking to take his share. He said, no, I think this is the food of tyrant people and extravagant people and people of the dunya. Though it was halal, but still he showed a great taqwa and wara. And it is well known in his biography that he used to fast continuously, every single day. Why he used to fast continuously? Meaning he used to take one meal, that is at the time of iftar, and he used to take one drink, that is at the time of suhoor. So every single day it was his pattern, meaning fasting every single day. And he used to take only one meal at the time of Maghrib. After the prayer of Maghrib, it was iftar, and it was the only meal that he used to take. And in the morning, before the Fajr time, he used to take suhoor, and his suhoor was just water. And yes, why he used to do so? Because yes, he did not show any interest in the pleasures of this life, and he wanted to live a simple life and follow the footsteps of the Prophet ﷺ. For example, as I mentioned, if Prophet ﷺ wanted, he would have given all things of this dunya, but he refused. And what used to happen, as we know in the famous hadith, that for month and the second month and the following month, meaning for many months, Prophet ﷺ's wives used not to cook anything. And then Urwa ibn Zubair, one of the nephew of Aisha radiallahu anha, he asked that how he used to live, what he used to eat. Aisha radiallahu anha said, yes, we used not to cook for months, 1 month or 2 months or sometimes 3 months, and we used to live on water. Aswadain means on 2 black things, water and the dates. That was our food for months. So he used to follow the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And one of the aspects of Nabi's life as the taqwa and the wara is his bravery. What it means, his bravery, meaning he was a really brave person, and he used to enjoin good and forbid evil. Even if something wrong being committed by the king, he would not care. He would give the nasiha, and he would try to correct him, and he would say him what is right, and he would enjoin the good and forbid the evil. So his bravery and sacrifice for the sake of Allah. And I want you to read from this. And there are many good stories how brave he used to be, and not to fear, even if it was king or governor or anyone. If he find anything wrong being committed, he would meaning he would give nasiha. Either he would meet him in person or write him letter.
On his bravery and sacrifice for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And now we understood very well the evil of disobeying Allah. He would not accept or remain silent in the presence of any evil, no matter who or what the source of the evil. He stood up for the sake of Allah, and he feared the punishment of no one but Allah. He once stated that he considered dying for the sake of Allah as an act of worship.
Yes, he considered dying for the sake of Allah an act of worship.
Hence he would stand up to the king, to other scholars, to the powers that may be, and anyone else for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At the same time, he understood very well the words of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ad-din an-nasiha. The religion is sincere advice. He took it upon himself to advise those who were doing wrong. He tried his best to guide them to what was best and proper. He would often use soft speech and convincing arguments from the Quran and Sunnah whenever appropriate. If this had no effect, he would then take harsher approach to try to correct the wrong that appeared around him.
Okay, so first he used to be polite, meaning first he used to give nasiha in a polite way, mentioning the ayahs of the Quran and the hadith. And if it did not work, then sometime later on, he would be relatively a little bit harsh. And there are many stories that how he used to brave or meaning even if the king is committing something wrong, he would not hesitate. He would meet him in person or write him letter. And there are many stories. I just want to mention a few of them. For example, yes, Risalat with Sultan Zahir. The king at the time his name was Zahir, and he was a famous king. He is the king that who defeated the Mughals after they attacked or destroyed the Baghdad. It was the king Sultan Zahir. He was the leader of the king, and at his hand he defeated the Tataris of the Mughals. So what happened on one occasion? The king, took control over the gardens of general people, masses. Meaning, the public used to own some gardens, and when these Mughals took control over the Damascus as well, then it was under the possession of the Mughals. And when the Mughals were defeated by the king Sultan Zahir, then what Sultan Zahir did, he took the control over the many gardens that were around the Damascus. And these gardens belongs to general people. They were under their position. But when these Mughals attacked and took control, all these gardens went under the control of the Mughals. And when this king defeated these Mughals, then he also tried to take the possession of the control of the gardens. It belongs to general people. And there was a Jewish faqih, Hanafi faqih. At every time we have some religious scholars and some people who just work for the king and give fatwa that is pleasing to the king, even it is against the teachings of the Quran and Sunnah. In the history, almost every time we have the good pious scholars, and there are some ulama who means bad scholars as well. So there was one bad scholar, a Hanafi scholar. He gave the fatwa to the king that it is allowed for you to take control over these gardens. Why? And he said, yes, these people who claim that these gardens belongs to them, they have to produce the deed. They have to show document that this is their position or their belonging. And at that time, the things were not that developed. Meaning they inherited from their fathers, and their fathers inherited from their forefathers. Not everyone used to have these documents. So that's how the problem arises. Then Imam Nawawee wrote a lengthy letter to the king saying that the fatwa, meaning the things belongs to the owners, even if they don't have this documentary. If a house or garden is under the possession of certain people, it belongs to them. The one who is claiming that it is not, he has to produce the dalil that it belongs to them. So he wrote a letter giving him advice and mentioning many different verses from the Quran and Sunnah that look, these are the weak people and general masses, and you have to be kind. And he mentioned the hadith in which Prophet ﷺ made dua for the rulers who are kind to the general people. So he wrote a lengthy letter encouraging the king to give back the gardens to the real owners. And on another occasion, he put many tax on the general people. Then again he wrote a letter to the king saying that these are the taxes, unjust taxes, and people are not in a position to pay these taxes. And he mentioned the reason, because they are poor people, general masses, and they were going through the drought as well. Sometimes they used to go through famine or drought and lack of rains. So he wrote a letter asking to release the taxes. And he believed that these are unfair or unjust taxes. And he encouraged, not only asked them, he used to mention the hadith, and he used to mention this the read from Quran as well. And he used to say in all his letter that I know, you see, Sultan Zahir, that you are really a good person. You yourself want to follow the deen, and you want to follow the sunnah. And I know that you encourage your other governors to follow the Quran and Sunnah. So I know that you are a good person, and someone like you should be the first person to accept my advice, because they are according to the Quran and Sunnah. So meaning he wasn't rebelling against the king or using any bad language. He was mentioning the hadith and Quran and the dalil from the Quran and Sunnah, and being good to the king as well, saying that I know from your culture or from your character that you yourself is the one who practice the religion and try to follow the book and Sunnah, and you have a good intention, and you yourself ask other people, your governors and other workers, in the government, you encourage them to follow the book and Sunnah. So I know that whatever you are doing is because you have no knowledge on this issue, or maybe you are thinking that is the right according to the teachings of Islam. But what happened? Yes, but the king, though he was generally speaking a good person, but maybe he was influenced by the fatwa of other people, or maybe he thought that whatever he is doing is right. So there was there was something going between Imam Nawawee and the Sultan of Zahir, because he did not like Imam Nawawee correcting every mistake that he used to make. That was his habit. He used to say, I'm not going to stay quiet, because I have the knowledge and this is my responsibility. Allah has taken covenant from us that those who have the knowledge, they have to pass the knowledge to other people. And it is compulsory upon us, if we see something wrong going, it is our responsibility to enjoin good and forbid evil, or try to eradicate the evil. So he used to mention these things first, that the reason that I'm doing so, because this is my responsibility. Being a scholar, this is our responsibility. And he used to say that I just only want to give advice to you because of deen and nasiha. But the Sultan did not like these writings, or did not like these things coming from Imam Nawawee. And not only Imam Nawawee used to write letters to Sultan, sometimes he used to write letters to other scholars as well. Meaning if he used to see something wrong, or they are promoting any wrong fatwa, or promoting any bid'ah or anything, he used to write them or condemn them. And basically first he used to be polite. And if he would not get a positive response, then sometimes he used to turn to a harsh or strong language and establishing the real from the book and sunnah. And there's one other good story. Page 59, meaning how he used to approach the king. Yes, can you read?
And now with the ruler and the masses once again. Sultan al-Zahir Baybars understood the dangers of the Mongols close by. Hence he decided to do what he could to defeat them and drive them further out of the land of the Muslims.
Yes, he defeated the Mongols, but he wanted to push them even further back from the lands of Muslims. So he wanted to collect money from the masses to use it in jihad.
He asked for a fatwa from the scholars that would allow him to take money from the citizenry in order to use in his battles against the Mongols. The scholars of Asham wrote such a fatwa for him. He asked if any scholar refused to write such a letter, and he was told that only An-Nawawee refused.
Yes, as I mentioned, that every time in the history we find good scholars, ulama as-salihin, and we find ulama su as well, meaning bad scholars who used to work for the king, or they used to get scared and give the fatwa pleasing the king.
Al-Zahir Baybars had An-Nawawee brought to him, and he asked him personally to sign with the other scholars. However, An-Nawawee refused. The Sultan asked him why. He thus answered.
Okay, read the answer. No, he's using a little bit harsh language, because he tried the nasiha and he wrote many letters before, and he did not get any positive response from the Sultan. So the answer of the language that now he used, a little bit harsh.
I know that you used to be a slave of the Emir Bandukar, and you did not have any wealth. Then Allah bestowed His bounty upon you, and you became the ruler. I have heard that you have 1,000 male slaves, and each one of them has a girth by which the horse's saddle is tied, and is full of gold. And you have 200 slave girls, and each of them has a portion of gold jewelry. If you spend all that you have, and you leave your slaves as straps and dyes instead of gold girths, and you leave the slave girls with their clothing and no jewelry, then I will give you a fatwa that you can take wealth from the citizenry.
So his fatwa was fair, meaning he said you got 1,000 of slaves, male slave, and they are using some great made of gold, and you have many female slaves who have many jewelry. Then why you not spending that money on the jihad instead of taking money from the general people who are not everyone is well off, and putting tax on them? So intention was good that yes, his intention was to take money from the general people, put tax, and use it in jihad. But the good intention means you have to achieve the good intention through legal means only. You cannot achieve the good Even if the goals are righteous and good, you have to achieve those goals through legal means only. Means, as we said, don't justify, the goals not necessarily justify the means. Means also have to be righteous and good.
Here, once again, it is narrated that the Sultan got upset with him and he had him banished from Damascus.
Yes, because many confrontation took place or encounters between him and Sultan, then later on he decided to remove or ask Imam Nawawee to leave the Damascus. And because Imam Nawawee was a pious scholar, and we have been told to obey and listen to the king, even if they are unjust. So instead of causing any problem or fitna, he just obeyed and he left the Damascus. Even though his followers and many scholars said, you don't have to, and we will stand by you, we will support you against the king. But he did not want to cause any fitna. He said no, because the Prophet ﷺ asked us to listen and obey the Sultan, even if he's being unjust and even if he's being zalim, but still we have been told to obey and listen. So he said there is no need to cause any fitna, and he left the Damascus and went back to Nawa, where he passed away. So he used to speak on behalf of the masses, meaning not for any personal gain and not for any personal issues. There was nothing personal. Whenever the king was doing some putting tax or taking the money from the general people to be used in jihad, or occupying the gardens that were owned by the general people, so it was nothing for his own interest. He was speaking on behalf of general people. And sometimes he used to speak on behalf of the other ulama. For example, the Sultan Zahir passed a ruling saying that every scholar should teach in one madrasa only. At one time, he has to do one job. What is sometimes used to happen, many scholars, they used to have big families, and they used to teach in many different schools at the same time. They used to take few periods here and then go to other madrasa and take some other periods. So they used to get salary from this madrasa and from the other madrasa. They were forced to do so because the salary that was paid to them from one madrasa was maybe not enough for the family or for the children. But when the king passed this ruling that every scholar or every teacher has to teach only in one madrasa and cannot be a teacher at the same time of the two schools, then also Imam Nawawee stood up and he wrote a letter to the king asking that, giving him advice that this ruling is unjust with regard to the scholars, and scholars need to be held, and they are the bone for any society. Scholars are really important. What they are doing is spreading the knowledge of Islam. They have their own family, they have their own children, and the salary that they may take from one school may not be enough for them. So these scholars should be encouraged and supported and aided. And your ruling will hurt them financially, and it is unjust. And again, when he was speaking, it was not for his interest, because he was not taking any salary. Though he was the head teacher in the Ashrafiyya, and as we mentioned, he took salary for 2 years, then he was teaching free. So he wasn't speaking, or he wasn't giving the advice because his own interests were involved, because the interests of the ulama. And Imam Nawawee, when he was asked to leave the Damascus, yes, then he left the Damascus, and then he lived in his village Nawa, where he passed away. We said he born in 631, and he passed away in somewhere 676. So the whole life that he got is 44 years old. And by this I conclude, inshallah, with regard to his books or his great work that he produced, and we talk about in next week, Saturday, inshallah. And then we start the first hadith, Innamal a'malu binniyat. Subhanakallah wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka. Any question with regard to what we talked about Imam Nawawee's life? I mean, we didn't touch his whole life. We touched his dedication to the ilm, or how hard he used to work in order to gain the knowledge, and then we talked about his taqwa, and we talked about his bravery. And Imam Nawawee wasn't married. Yes, he did not marry, and the reason why he did not marry, ulama mentioned many different reasons. The basic reason is that he used not to have any, not used to show any interest in the pleasures of this life. Meaning he was a really muttaqi and really God-fearing person, and living very simple life. He had no desire to this world and to fulfill his physical desires. That is the one explanation given. And some ulama said the reason he did not got married because he did not have the means to look after his family. But that's also not true, because he used to take the salary, and from himself voluntarily he said no, he's not going to take salary. Had he wanted, he would have created those means as well to get married, but he did not want it to. And there's another explanation given that the reason why he did not get married is that he was afraid that he won't be able to fulfill the rights of the wife, and maybe the marriage and the other things that are related to marriage will divert him from spreading the knowledge from gaining the knowledge and from doing the research work or the compiling the books, because he was dedicated to this issue. So he thought that if he get married, he may not be able to continue with his noble goals. And there is one famous saying of himself. People ask him about this issue. Why did he leave the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ? Obviously, this is the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Then he said, I was afraid that if I act on this Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, I would be committing, I would be leaving many Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, or maybe I would commit many harams or many things that are disliked. So he said, by practicing this Sunnah, I was afraid that I would leave many other Sunnah, or I would do something which is wrong. So these are the 2 or 3 explanations given that why he did not got married. And there were some ulama who did not. One of them is another famous alim, Shaykh Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, rahmatullah alayhi, and Imam Bukhari as well. I'm not sure about Ibn Qayyim. I'm not saying no or nothing. I'm saying I'm not sure. I don't know. About Ibn Taymiyyah, I'm sure. Okay, inshallah, with this we conclude, and the next day we will talk about the work that was produced by Imam Nawawee rahmatullah, and then we'll start straight away the first hadith of Imam Nawawee, inshallah. Subhanakallah wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Jazakallah khair to the Imam for giving that very nice introduction. I encourage everyone to, inshallah, try and keep consistent and attend the classes. Obviously, some classes we may miss, so we're recording the videos, and we're gonna, inshallah, upload them. But please try to attend and encourage other brothers and sisters to attend, inshallah, as well. And it's something that even if we benefit, even if it's one word, even if there's one aspect of it we benefit from, it'll increase our iman and inshallah improve us as Muslims. So jazakumullahu khair.